Life is a flow, an ever-moving river. And yet we often cling to the rocks along the way, mistaking stillness for safety. We hold on to things long past their time, to people who have already walked away, to moments that have dissolved into the fabric of memory. And so we suffer, not because life is cruel, but because we refuse to move with it. Strength is not in resistance, but in surrender to what is. To move on is not to abandon, but to recognize that everything is impermanent, fleeting like the wind that rustles the trees. The tighter you grasp, the more it slips through your fingers. For life is not meant to be controlled, only experienced. Pain arises when we fight against this natural rhythm. As if we could stop the ocean's tide or demand the sun to rise only when we are ready. To be strong is not to harden yourself against life, but to embrace its constant change without fear. The mind clings because it desires security. But security is an illusion. There is nothing to hold on to except the present moment. And even that is gone the moment you try to define it. When you truly see this, when you stop resisting the flow, you find that moving on is not something you do. It simply happens. There is no need to force yourself to forget, no need to suppress or push anything away. Instead, observe, allow, and watch how naturally the next chapter unfolds. The past does not hold you. You hold on to it. Let go not as an act of will but as an understanding that there is nothing real to hold on to. The river does not lament the rocks it has passed. It simply continues. Life moves like a river flowing effortlessly, never pausing, never clinging to a single moment. It does not resist, does not question where it is going. And yet it always finds its way. But as human beings, we often find ourselves stuck, holding on to things that were never meant to stay. We resist the flow of life, trying to stop time, grasping at the past as if it could be frozen in place. And in doing so, we create suffering where there should be none. Change is the only certainty in life. And yet we fear it. We long for stability, for something to hold on to, for a sense of permanence in a world that is constantly shifting. But this longing itself is the root of much of our pain. We are like travelers trying to build homes on a moving train, forgetting that the journey itself is the only real thing. No matter how much we wish for things to stay the same, life will continue to move with or without our consent. The seasons change without effort. The sun rises and sets without hesitation. The tides ebb and flow in perfect harmony with the moon. Nothing in nature resists change. And yet we struggle against it as if we are separate from the very forces that created us. Imagine holding onto a rope that is being pulled away from you. The tighter you grip, the more pain you feel. But the moment you let go, the struggle disappears. Life is the same way. The suffering does not come from the change itself, but from our resistance to it. When you realize this, you begin to understand that freedom is not found in control but in surrender. To surrender does not mean to give up. It means to trust. It means understanding that life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Everything that leaves is making space for something new. Every ending is a beginning in disguise. When you stop fighting against the current, you do not drown. You are carried effortlessly to where you are meant to be. But the mind clings to what is familiar. It creates attachments to experiences, people, and identities, convincing us that they define who we are. We fear that without them, we will be lost. But who were you before those things entered your life? And who will you be after they're gone? The truth is you are not defined by what you hold on to. You are the awareness that observes it all. the constant presence beneath the ever-changing circumstances of life. When you accept that life is a continuous flow, you stop seeing change as a threat. You no longer see loss as something to fear. You begin to understand that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. The love you once had, the moments of joy, the people who came and went. They all continue to exist, not in the way you expect, but in the way they were meant to. You carry their essence within you, woven into the fabric of your being. Look at nature. A river does not lament the water it has left behind. A tree does not mourn the leaves it shed in autumn. Everything follows its natural course, and because of that it thrives. If nature can embrace impermanence with such grace, why do we struggle? Why do we make ourselves suffer over things that were never meant to be permanent? The more you align yourself with life's natural rhythm, the more peaceful you become. You stop grasping at the past and start welcoming the present. You stop fearing the future because you trust that life knows exactly where it is taking you. And in that trust, you find true strength, not in resistance, but in acceptance. The greatest freedom comes when you realize that you do not have to control everything. You do not have to fight the current. You do not have to hold on to what is trying to leave. Life is not asking you to struggle. It is asking you to flow. Let go and see how effortlessly life carries you forward. Strength is often misunderstood. Many believe it is about standing firm, resisting, fighting back, refusing to bend under pressure. But real strength is not found in resistance. It is found in surrender. Not surrender in the sense of defeat, but in the willingness to trust life's unfolding without fear. Strength is not about hardening yourself to avoid pain. It is about remaining open despite it. When something in life changes, when a relationship ends, when a door closes, when a dream crumbles, the instinct is often to resist, to cling, to hold on, to fight against the inevitable. This is because the mind seeks security, and it believes security is found in the known, in what is familiar. But true security does not come from holding on to what was. It comes from trusting that whatever happens, you will be okay. Imagine a tree standing in a storm. A rigid tree, one that refuses to bend, is the first to snap when the wind grows strong. But a tree that moves with the wind, that bends and sways, remains standing. It does not fight against the force of nature. It moves with it. This is real strength. Not stubbornness, not resistance, but flexibility. The ability to adapt, to trust, to flow with whatever comes. To be strong is to embrace uncertainty. To step forward even when you cannot see the whole path. It is to release the need for control and trust that life is carrying you exactly where you need to go. This does not mean you do nothing. It means you stop grasping at things that are no longer meant for you. It means you stop trying to force things into place when they are already shifting. Control is an illusion. You cannot make people stay when they want to leave. You cannot force events to unfold the way you expect. You cannot hold back time, nor can you rewrite the past. And yet so much suffering comes from the attempt to do just that. People spend years trying to fix what was never meant to be fixed. Trying to hold on to what was meant to change, trying to resist what has already happened. The strongest people are not those who fight against life, but those who move with it. The ones who trust that when something leaves, it is making space for something new. The ones who do not see endings as losses but as transitions. The ones who understand that just because something was good once does not mean it was meant to last forever. This is not easy. The mind is deeply conditioned to seek control. It wants to know, to predict, to ensure outcomes. But the more you try to control, the more you suffer. Real strength comes from the understanding that you do not have to control everything. That you are not meant to. That life knows what it is doing far better than you do. Think about the ocean. A wave does not try to hold onto itself, nor does it resist its rise and fall. It simply moves as it is meant to. It does not fear its disappearance because it knows it is part of something greater. To surrender is to trust. It is to say, I may not understand why this is happening, but I trust that it is leading me somewhere important. It is to let go of the need to know everything in advance. It is to step into the unknown with an open heart instead of a clenched fist. Strength is not about holding on to pain, nor is it about denying it. It is about allowing yourself to feel, to grieve, to release and then to move forward. It is about knowing that whatever happens, you will be okay. That no experience defines you, that no ending is the end of you. People fear letting go because they believe it means losing something. But in truth, letting go is only painful when you resist it. When you embrace it, you see that it is simply the opening of a new door. The more you surrender to the flow of life, the lighter you become. You stop carrying burdens that are not yours to bear. You stop trying to control things that were never meant to be controlled. And in that lightness, you discover a strength that cannot be shaken. Real strength is not found in resistance. It is found in the quiet confidence that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you need to be. It is in the deep trust that life is not against you but always working for you. And when you understand this, you no longer fear change. You welcome it. Letting go is not something you force. It is not a battle, not something you must wrestle with until you win. It is something that happens naturally when you stop holding on so tightly. The mind, however, loves control. It convinces you that you must actively move on, that you must put effort into forgetting, that you must somehow make peace with the past through force. But the truth is, the more you try to let go, the more you reinforce the very thing you are trying to release. Think of a clenched fist. If you want to release what you are holding, you do not force the fingers open one by one with strain and effort. You simply stop clenching and the hand relaxes. Letting go is the same. It is not about pushing something away. It is about ceasing to grasp it in the first place. The struggle is never with the thing you are trying to release. It is with your own attachment to it. The problem is the mind attaches itself to what is familiar, whether it is good for you or not. It holds on to pain not because it enjoys suffering but because suffering that is known feels safer than the unknown. It clings to old identities, old relationships, old hurts because they have become part of the story it tells itself. And if those things disappear, the mind wonders, who am I without this? What is left of me when this is gone? But you are not the things you hold on to. You are not your past, nor your pain, nor your attachments. The more you identify with them, the harder it becomes to release them. The moment you stop seeing them as part of you, you will notice they begin to fade on their own. Look at the sky. When clouds pass by, they do not struggle to remain in place. They simply drift, changing shape, moving on without resistance. The sky does not try to hold them still, nor does it chase after them once they are gone. It allows everything to come and go without attachment. You are the sky, but the mind convinces you that you are the clouds. It tells you that you are your emotions, your thoughts, your experiences, and so you hold on to them thinking they define you. But just like the sky is never harmed by the storms that pass through it, you are never diminished by the things that have come and gone in your life. The past is not alive anywhere except in your memory. The moment you stop feeding it, it dissolves. There is a reason why some of the most painful things in life seem impossible to release. It is not the pain itself that keeps you stuck, but your relationship to it. When something hurts, the mind revisits it over and over, replaying conversations, reliving moments, looking for answers. It believes that by holding on, it can somehow change what happened, that it can find closure through analysis and repetition. But this only strengthens the attachment. Instead of allowing the pain to move through you, you trap it within you. You resist it, suppress it, analyze it, fear it, anything but simply let it be. And in doing so, you make it last much longer than it ever needed to. Think of emotions like waves in the ocean. When a wave rises, you do not try to stop it. You do not freeze it in place or fight against it. You let it rise, peak, and fall naturally. If you were to try to hold on to a wave, you would only create turbulence. The same is true for emotions. When you allow them to come and go without resistance, they lose their power over you. Moving on does not require force. It requires presence. It requires being where you are instead of where you wish you could be. The more you engage with the present moment, the less grip the past has on you. You stop living through the lens of what was and start seeing life as it is right now. And in that you realize you were never truly stuck. You were only looking in the wrong direction. The reason many people struggle with letting go is that they believe it is an act of effort, something they must actively do. But just like you do not force yourself to fall asleep, you do not force yourself to let go. It happens naturally when you stop trying. The moment you stop grasping, the moment you stop feeding energy into what is already gone, it releases you effortlessly. Consider how leaves fall from trees in autumn. The tree does not force them to drop. It simply stops nourishing them and they let go on their own. They drift to the ground without resistance, without struggle. The tree does not mourn them, does not try to glue them back. It simply accepts that their time has passed. And because of that, it remains free to grow again when the time is right. You are no different. What is meant to leave will leave. What is meant to stay will stay. Your only task is to trust the process, to allow things to move as they are meant to, and to understand that just as a tree does not lose itself when it sheds its leaves, you do not lose yourself when you release what no longer serves you. Moving on does not mean forcing yourself to feel differently. It does not mean rushing healing. It means no longer resisting the natural flow of life. It means understanding that nothing real is ever truly lost. Every experience has already left its imprint, already shaped you in the way it was meant to. You do not need to keep carrying it to prove that it mattered. Letting go is not an act of willpower. It is an act of awareness. The moment you see that you are the one keeping yourself tethered, you also see that you hold the key to your own freedom. You do not need to force yourself to move on. You only need to stop holding yourself back. Time does not heal. It is not time itself that soothes wounds, but what you do within it. Time alone does nothing but pass, indifferent to whether you hold on or let go. Whether you suffer or find peace, people say give it time as if time were a cure. But time is merely a space in which healing may happen if you allow it. The real healer is presence. Healing begins the moment you stop resisting what is. When you stop reliving the past, when you stop anticipating the future, when you finally rest in what is real right now, you create the space where wounds can dissolve. But the mind does not like the present. It clings to stories, to memories, to identities wrapped in past experiences. It projects itself forward, worrying about what may come, holding on to what was lost. And so people suffer not because time is too slow, but because they are never truly here. Imagine a person carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Every day they walk with it, feeling its weight, believing that one day it will simply disappear. But time alone does not empty the bag. If they do nothing, they will carry it for years. Only when they stop, open the bag and begin removing the stones does the burden lighten. This is healing. It is not something that just happens as days go by. It is something you do with awareness by facing what weighs you down and releasing it one piece at a time. Pain lingers because the mind revisits it. If you stop telling yourself the same stories, stop replaying the same moments, stop feeding the same emotions, you will find that pain does not hold on to you. You hold on to it. Time is not the force that moves you forward. It is your willingness to stop repeating old patterns, to stop reliving things that no longer exist. You are not the past. You are not your heartbreak, your failures, your suffering. But if you identify with them, they become a cage. The door is always open, but you must choose to walk out. And the only way out is to stop clinging to the illusion that you are what has happened to you. The body heals itself naturally when given the right conditions. The wound will close on its own, but only if you stop picking at it. If you keep opening it, scratching it, refusing to let it rest, it festers. The same is true for emotional wounds. You do not need to force yourself to heal. You only need to stop interfering with the process. People wait for time to heal them, yet they continue feeding their suffering, nursing their pain, defining themselves by their wound. They wait for closure as if it is something that comes from outside. But closure is simply the moment you decide to stop looking for it. Nothing external can give it to you. No apology, no explanation, no amount of time will do what only your own awareness can. Healing happens when you see clearly that you are not bound by anything. You are not a prisoner of the past unless you believe you are. The moment you stop identifying with what hurt you, the moment you stop making it part of your story, it loses its grip. But if you continue saying this is who I am now, then of course it will be. Consider a river. It does not resist the flow. It does not cling to what has passed through it. It does not say this water was here before I must hold on to it. It allows everything to come and go. And because of that, it remains fresh, alive, always new. You are like that. You are meant to flow, not to stagnate in old emotions, not to replay the same pains endlessly. Healing is not about forgetting. It is about seeing things clearly, no longer attaching yourself to them. It is about realizing that nothing in life is permanent, that everything is in motion, including you. The more you accept this, the less you suffer. There is no timeline for healing, no correct way to move forward. The idea that you must be over it in a certain amount of time is a human construct, a rule made by minds that do not understand the depth of experience. Healing is not linear. Some days you will feel light. Other days the weight will return. This does not mean you are failing. It simply means you are in motion, learning, growing. The mistake people make is believing that healing means never feeling pain again. But true healing is not about eliminating discomfort. It is about no longer being controlled by it. It is about allowing feelings to rise and fall without resistance, knowing they do not define you. You will wake up one day and realize that something that once consumed you now feels distant, light, almost unreal. This is not because time passed. It is because you at some point without even realizing it stopped feeding it energy. You stop giving it life through your thoughts, your emotions, your attention. You do not need to rush healing. You do not need to force yourself to be better. You only need to trust that just like a wound closes when left undisturbed, just like a river keeps flowing, just like the sky does not hold on to storms, you too are designed to move forward naturally. The only thing that keeps you in place is your belief that you are stuck. The moment you see that movement is your nature, you will realize you were never truly trapped at all.